Well, I, for one, am always a little skeptical when I see a retailer introduce their own products. In this case, we're talking about the Apos Caspian. But Apos was smart. They did not go it alone. This is a partnership with Kennerton. Kennerton's a super interesting headphone manufacturer. I've reviewed a bunch of their stuff, and I know they've done some partnerships before, like with Underwood Hi-Fi and the LSA HP1, HP2, HP3. Kennerton does both dynamic and planar based headphones. They often utilize wood. They often utilize real metals and leathers. So nice material story here. This is a 50 millimeter dynamic driver, incredibly sensitive at 115 dB at 33 ohms, which means that one, you can drive it with almost nothing. Two, if you have any noise floor in your amp, you're going to hear it in this thing the minute you plug it in. It's not heavy. It looks sort of stout with all the woods and metals and whatnot, but it's 375-ish grams, I think. It's not like a super light, airy headphone, but for something that looks and feels like this and is probably, meant to be worn sitting at a desk or in your favorite leather armchair, not bad at all. Feels light on the head, and it's pretty comfy with this big, thick leather pad here, and these nice memory foamy kind of pads here. The pads are oval shaped, which is, sort of the shape of our ears, so it kind of makes sense, but not, even though they come right off like other Kennertons or ZMF headphones and just kind of have a ring here. There's not going to be a ton of pad swapping options compared to like a nice circular headphone. I do know that Kennerton sells in their accessories section, I believe, a pad that would fit this. I don't know if it might just be the same pad though. So again, anyway, minor note, because they're super comfy and I had no problem with them. I would say it sort of sits, I don't have big ears, but it still sort of sits touching my ear. So it almost feels like kind of an on ear, even though it's technically an over ear headphone. So just a note there. The cable that comes stock is a relatively beefy affair. I've seen it with other Kennerton headphones. I don't know what's in there. Probably a very well shielded line, wrapped in a nice exterior. It's solid, but it's not super flexible. That's kind of big and beefy. The hardware is nice, but I think you can do better in the aftermarket. And good news, you can't actually. Kennerton makes a ton of aftermarket cables too, but you can, because it's got a nice standard mini XLR. So I got to try it with a handful of cables, and it does come. Did I have it? Yes, it does come with a handy dandy. Pardon me. Handy dandy leather. Excuse the mess. Carrying case. So I don't know how often I would use that, but it's kind of nice to have if you want to just store your headphones safely. Whatever. Okay, how's it sound? It's an energetic headphone, that's for sure. It's fun. It's very speedy. The other side of speed can sometimes be a bit of harshness, so it's not a like super chill out, space out, zone out kind of headphone. It's a more of a grab your attention, kind of grab your shirt collars headphone. That energy can get a little overwhelming, or a little congested sometimes when the music gets very complex. If you have like a lot of instrumentation at the same time, or a lot of noise or effects or grunge, sometimes it gets a little harder to sort of parse apart. But generally enjoyed it with slightly less complex, maybe like 3-4 instruments, a singer. Then you can really like tune into the details. It's got some nice twangy energy. Sometimes with certain pairings of amps, the like upper mid-range could get a little shouty for my personal taste. And sorry, folks, that's all I got is my personal taste. But overall, I think the timbre is very nice. As listening to Gustav Lundgren, French Connection Volume 2, it's just a really nicely recorded, nicely mastered recording. And this guy's playing guitar, and there's a little bit of accompaniment. Like a stand-up bass maybe, and it's just so easy to sink into it and really enjoy it. The little energy coming off the strings is really, really compelling and nice to spend time with. Sparkly bits are definitely there. They're clear. I've heard more shimmer. I've heard more sparkle on other headphones, usually more expensive headphones. Vocals come off as maybe a little on the drier side than the lusher side, which for like deeper gravelly voices is just like really fun. For like super gentle female vocals, maybe it didn't sort of satisfy as much as sweeter things might. The bass is some really satisfying fullness though. Absolutely. Yeah, and some kick to it. So I really enjoyed the bass on these headphones, again, making them a really fun listen. I characterize the presentation as more in the intimate than the expansive side, more in the head than outside it or on top of it. Pairing wise, like I said, it's super easy to drive, so you can kind of drive it with anything, but you are going to want a clean, very low noise floor, very quiet amplifier to dry it. So on some of my tube amps, it was just like, that background noise is kind of getting to me. I tried it with a bunch of stuff, some more linear tube amps, some very clean, solid state stuff. I kind of liked it a lot with the little Chord Mojo because it's got a touch of warmth, but it's very clean. It's very quiet in the background, nice and portable. So yeah, that was a pretty good pairing. And I said I tried it with a couple of cables, some like Litz cables that pulled out a little bit more detail, but also maybe emphasize some of the energy and semblance. So would want to play a little more with that. Yeah, in summation, super fun, very enjoyable, very, very competent, I'd say, at $500. There are other things that might maybe have a sense of more technical accuracy in that price range, but I would go. I enjoy fun. I want an engaging, fun sound, and for me, this checks the boxes. I've liked a lot of the Kennerton house sound. This has obviously got a little bit of Apos influence as well, so a really nice combination from these two contributors, and an overall, I think, satisfying and very good value headphone. So that's it. Until next time, Signcraft signing out.